Shout out, the Connects. Luis Guzman. Don't ever go, never leave my side. Passion's all I have, courage is my drive. And if I lost you, I would lose it all together. I wouldn't have composure to get it back together. I don't know.
Welcome to I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman podcast, where we highlight the journey of entrepreneurs, creatives, and business people alike to showcase that every light and dark moment create a beautiful piece of art. This is episode 56. I am your host, Luis Guzman. My guest today is the owner and CEO of Hanobi Research, Clinic Protocols, and Biohack. He is on the cutting edge of peptides and health research technology. A member of law enforcement with an extensive background in bodybuilding, countless competitions, and a true passion for health and fitness, I am truly excited for his journey into peptide research and curious to know what lies next in his continuous journey for greatness. I am also humbled and grateful as well to announce that his company, Hanobi Research, officially a sponsor for my podcast. I'm an artist, not a salesman. I am blessed to partner with him in order to further educate my audience on the advantages of peptides and spread the word on his company as well worldwide. David Lindberg, welcome to the show.
Wow, that's a great introduction. Thank you, brother.
Thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Great introduction, making me blush over here. I love it.
Well, listen, all do, because I mean, I've only, we met a couple times and, we talked off camera and, talked about the sponsorship, which I'm so thankful for, because one thing that Encore knows about me is I'm very big on health and I'm very big on peptides. I'm very big on anything that has to do with the gym or supplements, anything like that. So when this opportunity came and you were so forthcoming, I'm here hat in hand. Like,
right.
Dude, whatever you need from me to help your company and vice versa, let's do it.
Appreciate it. I'm the same way. Whatever I can do to help, I'm always one to give my hand, and I always, sacrifice myself over everybody else first. I'm very selfless when it comes to that. So that's how I was born, how I was raised, how I was brought up, and that's how I live my life. So
awesome, dude. That's a great attribute to have, because in this world now, a lot of people are more like gimme, 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 and they don't want to give nothing in return. So it's like, guys, it's a give and take, just like anything in life, right? You can't go work out for an hour like a maniac and then go eat McDonald's. It's a give and take. You gotta get a little to get a little, and vice versa.
It's a blessing and a curse sometimes.
I know. No, that's the problem. Because you wish you can have like a detector over people's heads. Like, what do you want from me? What is your true interest? Are you being genuine?
What are your motives behind it?
What are your motives? Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like, and now with the world being more narcissistic with social media and everybody has a story, everybody has a platform, it's hard to tell who's real, who's fake.
Yeah, especially where I live now in Vegas. I think it's even worse there than a lot of places.
Oh my God, that must be crazy, right? I know you probably got stories.
I got a few stories, absolutely.
So, dude, I always set off every podcast the same way, so I'm going to ask you the same question. Who is David Lindberg?
That's a great question. Who am I? Break it down. I was born and raised in small town Colorado.
Okay.
A little town called Fort Lupton. About 8,000. Born and raised there. We had a heavy Hispanic migrant population. It was a big farm town. So born and raised there. Parents were in my life, were with me. They're still married. They've been married.
Good for them. Awesome,
over 50
man.
years now. So
God bless. Nice.
Great parents. I've always played sports. They were active in my sports, growing up. I'm from a small town, and then I set off from bigger and better things.
That's awesome. So small town, but big city dreams, right?
Yes.
Awesome, man. So tell me about that upbringing. Like, what did you get out of Colorado that made you develop into this, entrepreneur that you are today? Was it something you learned from your parents or from the city?
Actually, no, it's weird. My background, right? My dad's been in law enforcement for over 50 years. I was a cop for 15 years. When I was in the profession of being a cop, it was secure. I thought it was secure. I had my schedule, I had my paycheck, and I had friends that were entrepreneurs, and I couldn't understand how they made a living being an entrepreneur. I'm like, how do you go out there and make money without having a defined role?
Right.
Or how do you go out and make money on a daily basis? Or how do you get by?
Right.
And I could never understand. I could never conceptualize that on how they would do it. Now, fast forward, 15, 17 years, when I opened my clinic in 2022, my back was kind of against the wall. It was one of those things. I just did it, and I never looked back. So.
Wow. Well, back against the wall. What do you mean by that? What was your back against the wall?
It was one of those things where I was working in the casinos at the time. I was doing corporate investigations for a big casino in Vegas, and I decided to step away from that and try to run my clinic full time.
I see.
So it was one of those things to where I jumped I was either one of those things, I give it all or I'm not going to do it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
So
you can't, I always say you can't be a slave to two masters. You
No.
gotta, jump in. You know what I mean?
I took that leap and it wound up being a very good leap.
Awesome,
it was scary. Don't get me wrong. Cause I never did anything like it before, to lose that, what am I looking for? To lose, the reassurance of having a paycheck every 2
because you had the safety net.
Yeah, it was a safety net.
And you said you were, what were you doing exactly for the casino again?
I was doing corporate investigations.
Wasn't that fun though?
It was fun, right? It's just like being a detective for the property. So it was actually a good time. So we can get a little more of that later. So it just pretty much being a detective for the property, helping out the local metro with cases and running like employee misconduct and things like that within the casino and the clubs.
How'd you end up there? Was it through your law enforcement background?
Through my law enforcement background, yeah.
So before that, you were just on the beat or in black and white.
Yeah, so I became a cop. Born and raised in Colorado, played football, went to college, played football. Got tired of that. Also raced BMX for a lot of years, so I wound up moving to San Diego.
Renaissance man.
Yeah, when I was like 19, and we moved to San Diego. Worked and drove our team truck and trailer around for my sponsor I had for BMX racing. I raced on the pro tour for about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And then I, figured I need to grow up. So about 20 and a half, I decided to move back to Colorado and join the police academy at 21. So
and where was this at, the police academy?
In Colorado.
In Colorado. Okay, so you went back to Colorado.
So I moved back from San Diego to Colorado. Joined the police academy when I was 20 and a half years old, graduated about 21. Got my first job in a small town, northeast Colorado, a town called Sterling. I was there for, 2007. So I was there from 2007 to 2013. I worked for the police department and I also worked for the sheriff's department.
Okay.
In that time, I got to I was on SWAT. I ran a narcotics unit. I got many certifications, i.e. one of them is what's called DRE, drug recognition expert.
Oh, wow.
So what I was able to do was able to evaluate somebody and know exactly what they were impaired on.
Whoa.
What kind of substance they're impaired on.
Get out of here.
Yep. So that's one of the hardest certificates, hardest accreditation you can get as a cop.
Really?
Only 1% of cops in the world have this kind of training.
Whoa.
And be able to pass it.
How vigorous is that training?
It's very vigorous. So it's a 14-day long class in classroom, and then you have about 6 months of like clinicals to where you go out to like a jail and they pull people in for you to evaluate, and you have to get so many of them right on a percentage scale. And then at the end of that, once you do all the formal on hands training, then there's a comprehensive final written out at the end that's like 6 hours long.
Whoa. So a 6 hour long written test?
Yep.
Come on. I mean, what kind of questions were they asking you?
Just anything from the clinical side of different types of drugs to the physical side of things. Because certain drugs cause different physical and psychological things to you. Mm-hmm. I.e. like a narcotic, which like a painkiller, opioids, right? Mm-hmm. So it can cause, constriction of the pupils, but also lowers the heart rate, lowers your blood pressure, things like that. So it's all signs, all things we can look at, determine what it is. Now, if people have multiple drugs on board, it's the one that's being psychoactive at the time. What psychoactive is what's actively impairing you at the time. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're drinking alcohol and smoking weed, right?
Gotcha.
So you get caught, right? You might have alcohol in your system, but you may be more messed up on the marijuana. The marijuana may be the one that's taking all the effects. Yeah, taking all the effects of the time. So
gotcha.
It's a cool. I enjoyed it. It was a passion.
No, that's pretty awesome because you're basically like a chemist, like figuring out what they have in their body and how the body is showing that to you externally.
And it's backed up by lab work. Of course, with anybody we do, a lot of it became with impaired driving. I was big on impaired driving. So you do the evaluation, you go do the labs on them, and then you get the results back. And I had a very good success rate at it. I was very good at it, very well known in Colorado for it. And then I had an opportunity to be an instructor in it as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's another whole training regiment that was hard. So in 2013, I moved from Sterling area back to my hometown of Fort Lupton, Colorado, where I became a cop there, which was kind of it was very
gig.
It was awesome. So I was back home where I grew up.
Nice.
So it's kind of a smaller town. So I was like the prodigy was coming back home.
I see what you're saying.
So
you ever pulled over anybody you knew?
Oh, absolutely, all the time.
Awkward?
No, because they knew I had a job to do. Right?
Okay.
They wouldn't. If they were my friends, they wouldn't put me in a position to where they would make me have to do something that they would not like, or made me force my hand if they were doing something stupid.
Gotcha.
If they were my friend or they knew me, they weren't going to put me in that kind of position or put themselves in that position.
Gotcha.
And they all knew that.
Got it.
So when I came back to town, there's certain things, certain people I can hang out with, certain people I really couldn't hang out with anymore because of.
Well, you already know the drill.
Yeah,
you know who's doing what and who's not. You know what I mean? So you have to separate yourself.
And that was a benefit to coming back home is because I knew all the ins and outs of the city. So came back there, got promoted to sergeant very quick. Then became, the lead instructor for for DUIs.
Dude, you're crushing.
Krav Maga, defensive tactics. Pretty much ended up running the agency for a while.
Whoa.
I was a patrol sergeant, admin sergeant. At the agency, we had 1 chief and 3 sergeants.
Okay.
So then we had the patrols.
sergeants.
So I was one of the sergeants. So we pretty much ran the agency. I ran our whole training unit. Our city got recognized for our enforcement duties, our enforcement details for dealing with impaired drivers. Because that was one thing I was big on. Got a lot of grant money.
That was a passion project. Yeah.
Did a lot of that. So so I had so my crew I ran, or I call it my crew. So my team I ran.
It's all good, man. That's your crew.
It is. Law enforcement is pretty much, definition of a gang, right? Law enforcement is technically a gang, not to piss anybody off.
Thin blue line gang.
It is, unfortunately,
Yeah.
So I had a really good proactive unit that would go out and get DUIs, impaired drivers, drugs, work with our gang members in town. And going back to your thing about people knowing me, my new guys would show up to calls, or people would show up to calls, and I'd be like, "Where's Lindberg? Where's Sarge?" There was times that people wouldn't want to talk to my guys; they would just want to deal with me.
Wow, get out of here!
Yeah.
Gee, how'd you navigate that?
I told them, I said, "Hey, I was straight up with everybody. One thing about me is I was very straight up and honest, and that's what people liked about me. I was direct. They knew they fucked up. They knew they were going to jail, and it's a game, right? A lot of these criminals, it's a game. They get one over on us, we get one over on them, they go to jail.
Yeah, back and forth.
Back and forth. So they know. So I was very direct and honest. I never lied, never misled anybody. So I'm like, hey, if I'm not here, you got to talk to this guy. You can't just be calling me saying you need me over here. It's not going to work that way.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's not.
So, and it's, and there was times that my guys would try to punk, some of these OGs in town.
Really?
And I'd have to put my guys in place. It's a respect thing.
Can't cross that line.
No, it's respect. I'm like, hey, look, they know they're doing whatever. They know they're essentially a criminal. I'm like, you don't have to throw in their face or belittle them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was like
you can't antagonize
them.
No,
I'm like, what is that going to do? It's going to get you in a fight with this guy, and it's not going to go well. He's not going to respect you. If he starts respecting you, you'll get more out of this person than you're ever going to think. If something happens in town, a lot of times I just call somebody up or walk, see somebody at the store. I'm like, hey, I need some info on this. 3 hours later, a day later, I might get a phone call. Hey, you might want to go check this area.
Got it.
Just because I had that respect.
Yeah, but the respect comes from obviously your small, your hometown, but also being able to speak to people like a human being.
Exactly.
And not antagonize them.
And having that empathy.
Yes, correct. That's the one thing that, cops get a lot of crap for this, is that there's lack of empathy. And I get it. You're dealing with stuff every day that's just raw.
But you still shouldn't lack empathy. You should still try to understand where they're coming from. I get it. I've had my bad days. Everybody has their bad days.
Yeah, we're allowed to. But
at the end of the day, you have a job to do. They want to go home. You want to go home. And a lot of the times, I was always big lifting, bodybuilding. So my stature was a deterrent for fighting as well. But I also knew how to talk, which surprised people. I had a really good gift of gab. I was a good bullshitter.
I see what you're saying. Okay,
that's why I got good at working narcotics and doing the things I was doing and good at evaluating people.
Got it.
So I was very good at getting people to talk to me. For whatever reason, people would just be an open book.
Yeah, you're very easy to talk to. And no one wants to piss you off, to be honest with you. I mean, look at you. You're like the white Ronnie Coleman.
Right? But I'm very nice. So it's be funny. Like, I'll be on a traffic stop with somebody, ask them a question, being friendly, and they're like, I got to tell you something. I got a gram of coke in my pocket. I'm like, why would you just tell me that? It's that guilty conscience, right? And they think I'm being friendly and nice, so they're like, so the guilt starts getting to them.
You up.
And human nature people want to talk, right? And that's what cops are. If you're a good cop or a good interviewer, as you are doing this podcast, is getting people to talk.
Yeah, you got to get information out. You know what I mean? But you got to do it in a way that, and you're in that business, in the law enforcement, you got to kind of be curious. You don't want to accuse anybody.
No.
But you got to build the rapport and trust.
You do. And sometimes you act like you should, it's a game, right? If you act like you know something, and they're trying to get one over on you too. So they might test you, you test them and see where you go. And it's a game.
Mm-hmm. It is a game. It's cat and mouse game.
It is.
Yeah. But to your point, you're very skilled at that, and you got further because of the fact that
I was good at reading people's
body language. You got to be a politician.
Yeah.
You see all the in your face, blinking lights.
You read people's mannerisms, how they react to questions, their hand positioning, how their body responds, physically, or, just on, what am I looking for? Just not, just straight off a nervous system response, right?
Oh, yeah.
You ask them a question, they may give you an answer, but their body tells you something different.
Exactly. And you're like a bloodhound with that. Because think about it, if you're doing it every day, it's muscle memory.
Yes.
So if you're doing, like said, 25 stops a day or whatever the case is, now you're building some type of muscle memory of what people's actions are. And I used to do loss prevention for Walmart a long time ago. I can spot it out ASAP on the camera. This guy's going to steal.
They're walking around, how they're acting.
Yeah, how they're acting, they're looking around, they're fidgeting, they're messing with. So you pick up on all these, human behaviors, so to speak.
It's funny. Like I'd be working the office, I'd be doing admin stuff, let's say 7, 8 hours a day. Last Tuesday shift, I want to go drive around and see how my guys are doing. I'd make one stop and get harassed and get drugs or get whatever off somebody. And my guys would be like, Sarge, how the fuck you spend time in the office doing all the admin stuff and your first stop you end up in a shit show, you get a big case. I'm like,
it's a feeling.
It's a feeling, and I'm also watching people.
Yeah.
It's not profiling. You're just watching people's mannerisms, how they act, right? You're driving by, they may look, they may do something that catches your eye. You're like, hey, that was weird.
That was weird. Yeah. Why they do that? Yeah.
I'm going to watch them for a second.
Yeah.
And more times than not, I just got good at reading people's body language.
Man, that's what it all comes down to though, right? You could tell, like, we're humans, man. We're meant to connect, but we're also meant to show you when we're feeling that fight or flight, when there's like, the bells and whistles are going off.
If you have a guilty conscience,
you have a guilty conscience.
Pass the cop,
like,
right?
Some people will rat themselves out.
Even now, like a cop gets behind me, I still like perk up, like, oh God.
Yeah, it's
just
normal,
human nature.
Yeah, and then you know what? I mean, I got pulled over. I get pulled over, and I'm just a normal guy. I got a clean record. I got no points on my license. I got all these gold cards in my wallet. 9 times, I get cocky now. Like literally 99% of the time, I get scot-free with nothing. Because I know so many cops and I know so many state troopers.
And the East Coast is different, right? The East Coast is about brotherhood. If you have those gold cards or whatever you call them out here, they respect it.
They respect it, yeah. And listen, on the turnpike, on the parkway, I have a lot of great friends that are troopers. And, he even tells me, call them troop. Because that's like the brotherhood name.
Yep.
So if you call them troop, they already know, this guy knows somebody in the family.
Yep.
That, so, and again, I'm not like a schmuck. I'm not driving 100 miles an hour, with a fifth of vodka, I'm not doing that.
Right.
But, maybe I forgot to make a right turn into the lane. But they get it. To your point, the point I'm making is be a human being. The guy's not dirty. He's understanding. He's respecting you.
Yeah.
Let him go. That's it.
Even so, there's times where I'd call somebody with a little paraphernalia, whatever, and it's give and take. I'm like, hey, do you want to go home today, or if they're honest with me?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, just be honest with me. We'll work through this, right? If there's a little bit of something or a pipe or some bullshit.
Like a dime bag of weed.
Dude, even weed's legal now.
Oh, now it's legal in Colorado. Yeah, but back then.
Yeah, it was one of those things like I'd work with them, and say, hey, you've been honest with me. It's a little bit paraphernalia. I'm like, you have 2 options. Dump it out in front of me, or you're going with me. 9 times out of 10, they'll dump it out.
Of course. But but you just being a freaking genuine human being. Like that is what's missing.
That's what's nice. That is missing. The human part of it is missing from law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And that's why, I miss it. I love the brotherhood. I love what I did. And that's one of the things that's, I think, wrong with law enforcement today. There's no empathy. They're not humans anymore.
Yeah.
They're robots. The new generation, they don't know how to talk to people, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And we'll get into, I was very blessed in my career. I had a lot of opportunities that a lot of cops never get, but I was just driven to do it. Yeah, so, but that leads me into, in 2018, I wound up getting in some stuff with my agency. I got my chief at the time threw me. I can't talk too much about it. Okay. But he threw me under the bus to save his own career. And I had guys turn on me.
He did that?
It was in my own agency.
Come on, bro.
So I wound up having a big lawsuit with the city, things like that. I can't get into too much detail because of an NDA.
No worries.
But yeah, I wound up, having this big ordeal, and I wound up leaving the agency.
So you left the agency in 2018,
yep.
And that's when you went to Vegas.
So yeah, I wound up working the oil field for about 6 months. Hated it.
Oh God, how was that?
Brutal.
Dude, that was in Colorado too?
Yeah, it was Colorado. I worked all Colorado, Texas, Utah, all around the states.
Well, let me ask you a question, right? This is totally off topic, but I've never been, and I want to know, what's up with the altitude? Is it really is it really hard to breathe in Colorado?
No, not really. Like if you're not from there, it could be maybe a little bit. Maybe
really?
From there. I don't think it's that bad.
Because I'm an athlete. I mean, I work out a lot. I'm an athlete, so I'm always curious. Like, oh, you think I could go run 3 miles in Colorado?
I'm sure it's a little more difficult, right?
It does really. It's that big of a difference.
Yeah, you're a mile above sea level, so of course it's going to be a little bit thicker.
I can't wait to go over there. I want to experience that for myself. But I mean, I'm just asking you because you being an athlete and being in law enforcement.
I've never noticed because that's where I was born and raised, so I never really noticed the difference.
So it was second nature to you,
right?
Gotcha.
It's like psychology thing. Like back in the day, the old Bronco Stadium in the opposing locker room, they had a big riding 5280.
What's that? The big
5280 is 5,200 feet above sea level.
Oh,
so they had a big riding 5280 above sea level. So they're trying to psych out
the visiting team.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
I still remember as a kid, I had to get to the locker rooms. I'm like, that's kind of cool. They do that kind of psych.
Yeah, they psych them out.
Yeah.
And then that's why they were so good back in the day.
Yep. So yeah, moving forward, I left law enforcement. It was bittersweet. I got married in 2018, so I had a lot going on.
Congrats, nice. You had a lot going on. Okay, cool.
So I'm not married anymore, but unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That was quick.
It's married about 6 years. She's an amazing woman. Still, we still get along. It's just we just weren't right for each other.
Was it hard trying to get into a new career at the same time being married?
It was, because I had a lot of adversity, right? I was on, I went from doing something I pretty much ate, breathed, and died over for 15 years.
Yeah, it's like Stockholm syndrome, man. You're used to doing the one thing.
I lived, that was my passion. I loved it. So I lost my purpose for a while.
Man, how were those? Was it years or months? Or what was the transition time?
Took me a couple of years.
So like 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, it took me a couple of years. So I was in the process at the time. We moved to Vegas, but I was also in the process with Las Vegas Metro PD.
Okay.
And then I found out that the MGM properties were starting their own like private SWAT teams on all the properties. So I applied for that. I got it. Moved to Vegas, and I ended up running the training unit. I got promoted very fast.
You're just running everything. I love it,
so
bro.
It's just
no messing around.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I'm very good at what I do, and I can be good at the politics, and I'm good at talking to people. And I am what I am. I'm no bullshit. Sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, but I've learned how to not play the game, but just be political and do the right things. I've learned through trial and error, just being young and dumb.
You got your, you went through the crash course.
Yeah. So I moved up very quick through them, ran the training unit. Loved that. It got kind of stale because it was just, you're dealing with a private sector versus the government, right? So we had our hands were tied with a lot of things. But it was fun though. Like our funding was outrageous. Whatever we wanted, we got.
Really?
Yeah, it was nice. So we had kind of limited funding for a while. Then COVID hit.
Oh, okay.
But we were pretty much one of the only. We were essential because we still protected the properties.
I see what you're saying.
Because all the properties designed to let people in, or to get people in, but not keep people out. So when all the properties shut down, we pretty much with security, we pretty much became the police force at the properties to stop bums from staying in there, getting in the hotel, breaking in. So we were pretty busy through.
Damn, you guys were holding that down.
Yeah.
Damn.
So we did that, and then I had an opportunity to go back to be a cop in Vegas.
And this was what year?
Just end of.
Is it after COVID?
End of 2020.
September
2020. I had some friends that went out and started working at one of the local Indian reservations, Moab, just north of Vegas. Good benefits, got a take-home car. It was great. So I applied, got hired out there. The unfortunate thing is, there about 9 months, loved it. It was easy. We just went out and did our thing. Working for the Indian reservation was different.
No, why was it different?
Laws are different, right? Because it's a sovereign nation.
Yeah, so that's like sacred land that the
sacred
Indian,
land, and they have different rules, different things. So when you would arrest a tribe member, it was very political.
Really?
Depending on what it is, you have to call the chief or call the admin of like, hey, this is what's going on, and it was just kind of an ordeal. Like it wasn't bad. Some of the tribe people didn't like us because there was a lot of white cops out there. So they're very
already,
some of them can be very racist against white people.
Really?
But I get it. They feel they were suppressed and everything that happened to them in their past. So it was a different environment to work in. That's
gotcha. It took a while to get used to it.
Yeah, but same thing. You just treat people with human and give them empathy, and a lot of people turn around and they end up liking us. Fortunate thing is I was doing my PT test, the state PT test, to get to transfer my certification. About 9 months later, they give us a timeline, and I wound up blowing my knee out.
Oh, how'd you blow your knee out?
Doing like an agility run, the state PT test, physical fitness standard test.
Yeah.
There's circuits you have to run. One of them was like an agility run, and I wound up popping my knee and blew my knee out.
Sheesh, man.
So unfortunate thing, since it's a sovereign nation, the next day they let me go.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
but wait a minute. I'm sorry to cut you off, but the sovereign nation, what does that mean exactly?
So that means they don't have to follow any state rules.
So they're like the Wild West.
They are. They pretty much can do what they want. They have to follow federal mandates, but state, like unemployment or things like that, they'd have to follow.
So they can let you go and you can't collect unemployment or nothing?
No, I tried.
Whoa.
Yep.
All because you blew your knee out. No sick time?
No, nothing like that. No sick time. No workers' comp. Everything got denied. Unfortunately.
Jeez. Did they tell you all this before you signed?
No.
Because I don't think you would have signed up for that.
No, I don't think I definitely would have.
That's a little wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
So I want to blow my knee out. I got my passion back. Then all of a sudden it was ripped away from me again.
Oh, man. So it's like a constant. It's so ironic you're saying this, right? Because we talked about how the cops, when you pull somebody over, you play the cat and mouse. And it feels like your whole life you're cat and mouse in it. You're like, I'm getting this, but now I lost this. I'm getting this, and now I lost this.
And then, going through those two things, I realized pretty quick there's no such thing as loyalty anymore. No one's loyal to you.
Especially when you get older, man.
Yeah, you're loyal to yourself, and that's
loyal to yourself. And, again, your small circle, whether it's a family or your wife or your husband, whatever the case is, like you're loyal to that. But outside of that, there's no real closeness.
No matter what organization it is or whoever it is, law enforcement, whatever else, they say, oh, we got you, we're a brotherhood, we're this, we're that.
Bullshit.
At the end of the day, they're looking out for the greater good of themselves or the entity.
I see what you're saying. Now, do you think that's a human nature thing, that humans are just selfish? Like they just want to look out for themselves and screw, Dave, if I can get overrun him, I will.
I don't think by nature, no. I think some people have good heart, and I think, also some people also try to look out for the better benefit of the organization.
Yeah,
at the same time,
I see what
right?
you're saying, yeah.
But unfortunately, that comes with the cost of, hurting people.
So it's like ass kissers.
Yeah, I don't think people generally stick out to screw people over.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not by chance, it's by opportunity.
I see what you're saying.
They may see an opportunity. They may not start out that way, but they may see an opening or an opportunity and be like, oh, and may not even realize what they're doing at first.
Yeah, I see. But you think they are realizing it? They're just acting like they don't?
I say 50-50.
Yeah, because some people are company men. They're just,
they are. Some people are. Some people are. They
you don't strike me like that. You strike me like salt of the earth. Listen, I got you.
I took care of my guys. Yeah, I took care of my guys. Anything that happened, I was running my agency. I took care of my guys. I would take all the blunt for it. They were protected.
True leader.
But I'm very old school that way. My dad's been a cop. I grew up that way. And I went to a lot of leadership schools. I went to one of them, Northwestern School of Police and Command, which is like the FBI Academy for future chiefs.
Holy cow, man. So you were seasoned as far as like the training.
Yeah, and being an executive
being
and
prepared.
Being the next chief. One of the things I was supposed to do was be the next chief of the city.
Jeez.
That's where all this came in with some of the stuff that happened.
Oh, man. God, I mean, I can't, and you can never speak about that, you said, right?
No, I can't go into detail, no.
Jeepers, man. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is there, you can't say one word to describe that whole situation without getting deep? Just one word.
It's fuckery.
You told me more. You told me more than I need to know with just that one word. I can follow you now. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. Like I said, I had many opportunities. Like I was very blessed, and I had training that a lot of people will never see or get in their life.
Wow.
But also that helped me with my other adventures I'm doing.
Yeah, it's all part of your journey, and it all added to your story.
So,
you know what I mean?
I was very blessed to go to that school. So, fast forward, right? Blew my knee out. Now I'm getting, now I don't know what to do. I was unemployed for 2 months. They weren't giving me unemployment. They weren't giving me, workers' comp. So I wound up getting hired at the Wynn.
You were doing the pool parties.
No.
I saw you at a pool. I was like, this guy's not messing around.
I do go to a lot of the day clubs out there. I do a lot of networking for my business.
Gotcha.
But I also like, the day clubs. They're fun.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So I wound up getting hired doing corporate investigations for the Wynn.
Okay, for the Wynn. Gotcha.
So,
gotcha. And that was 2021.
21.
Okay,
yeah, April,
so this is right after
June of 21. I got hired with them.
Okay, so you're doing that 2021,
and then
how's that start for you?
It's good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I started doing investigations. It's worked hand in hand with Metro and the hotel staff doing investigations. It's fun doing like employee misconduct, things like that. Back of house. There's like the casinos are like their own city.
I know. Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different. You're like the police for the casino.
Pretty much, yeah. Then we're like the detectives, right? You have the security, that's the police, and you have like we're the detectives.
So what are you like? What are you like investigating?
Anything between employee stealing from somebody, employee misconduct, any kind of employee misconduct, drugs on property, pretty much anything we investigated.
Really?
And we'd pretty much do the case, wrap it up in a fine bow, and give it to Metro if it was criminal.
And then they take it from there.
And they would make the arrest, whatever they'd have to do.
Any crazy stories, man?
I can't really get into it because I have an NDA with the Wynn as well. So,
I see. So you can't really.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot.
A lot. So yeah. So then I wound up getting over working, doing the nightlife investigations, which was fun because the Wynn has 2 clubs. They have Encore Beach Club, which is the day club.
Beach, yes.
The Nexus at night. So that was actually really fun. And I had a lot of friends that were hosts. So it was one of those things too. That's going back to my old law enforcement career.
Yeah.
If I need information, I would go to the host. They're the gatekeepers.
They're the ear to the streets, bro. Yeah, they have they know all the information.
So same thing, right? Is just learning how to talk to people and showing empathy and being a human to people.
That's it.
So I'd make my rounds and do my thing. And then in that time, in March of 2022, I started my first hormone clinic.
Nice. Okay, so tell me, now you say you're passionate about this, but tell me the steps leading up to going from investigator to well, you're still doing both at the time.
Yeah.
But what was the genesis to that? I'm just going to do the hormone clinic.
I had a buddy that helped open another clinic about 8 months prior to that in Vegas, and they wound up shutting down, and they wound up, a lot of patients were angry because they paid for meds and they felt like they got gypped because they never got their meds.
Really?
Yeah,
oh my God.
by one of the investors or by one of the founders of that clinic.
So they were scamming.
So they were scamming people, or at least one person was. So at the time, I felt very bad because I was kind of the face of the clinic in Vegas.
Oh, shoot.
I was running the gyms. I was with the face of the gyms, getting people to sign up and running it, things like that. So when that happened, I felt very bad. I'm like, well, shit, what are these patients going to do? And they were coming at me, pissed off, like, hey, where the hell I spent this money? Where the hell are my meds?
Where's my stuff
testosterone?
Yeah. Jesus.
So I reached out to my friends back in Colorado who had a clinic. I'm like, hey, I got this going on. Can you help me? He goes, yes, we're talking. We end up getting like I became like independent contractor for the clinic. Like an independent salesperson. And part of my deal was with them is say, hey, if I bring in X amount of money, X amount of revenue for 2 months straight, then they would allow me to offer me a franchise agreement.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So did that in March. So
you got a little skin in the game.
Yeah, did that in March. By May, I surpassed my what I needed.
How'd you do that so fast?
Just my network, at the time.
About 3 months.
Yeah. So
no,
at the time,
2 months. 2 months.
So 2.5 months, 3 months. So at the time I brought in, who was a buddy at the time, as kind of a partner. I'd help me because we were both big in the fitness industry. He had a good following, I had a good following, and I had people trusted me.
Gotcha.
So they just followed me over. I had a lot of like teams that had coaches that had a lot of other clients come to me. So I ended up getting, we executed that, and they weren't ready to franchise. I didn't realize how franchising meant, but they weren't ready for it. So we wound up doing a license agreement with them instead.
Ah, okay. So so it wasn't a franchise agreement.
So it was supposed to be, but they weren't ready to franchise because they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't have everything in place to franchise.
Got it.
Which actually this works out for my benefit. We do a license agreement. We start killing it. The first 6 months we do $500,000 in sales.
Jeepers. Wow.
Yeah.
$500,000 in
sales. Yeah. In the first 6 months we were open. The first year.
And what kind of hormones were you guys selling?
We were doing hormone replacement, testosterone, nandrolone, anavar, oxandrolone.
Is that?
Yeah, testosterone.
Testosterone, yep.
So testosterone replacement, they were doing like thyroid meds. We were, helping people optimize their thyroids, females progesterone, estrogen. We're also doing weight loss like the Ozempic. We were doing sexual well-being meds like tadalafil, Cialis. And they're also doing peptides as well.
Okay, peptides, the BPC 157.
Yeah, so we're doing a little bit of everything. Right?
Got it.
And we had a very good niche in the fitness industry, bodybuilding.
Yeah, nice connection.
One of the biggest reasons I got into this hormone space as well is because at the time, a lot of bodybuilders were dying. And I wanted to make sure a lot of these people that were competing were just listening to their coaches or whoever they were listening to were just going in it with ignorance and putting in their body whatever they're being told to without no knowledge. Gotcha. So part of what I want to do is give people knowledge and understanding and the education on it and the why.
Correct. Yeah.
So they were doing it as healthy as they could be.
I think they were just buying it from
they're buying it from the streets, wherever else, but then they're also running these crazy protocols, like girls running these crazy protocols that they should never run in their lives. So the biggest thing is make sure they, a lot of these girls would come to us. I'm like, why are you taking this? Like, well, I don't know, my coach said to. I'm like, you didn't do your research? You didn't do any research and you're putting something in your body. They're like, no, we just did it because it was going to make us lean. It's going to make us look good. I'm like, do you know what the after effects can be? They're like, no, we never thought about that.
Yeah, same with steroids. Yeah. Same thing. Steroids, it makes you get recovery faster, but there's a lot of long-lasting effects. So
the biggest thing, is I had a good, clinic staff, doctors and our practitioners, and I became very good at it, and so did my partner. And we actually, some of these protocols we taught some of our doctors because we're very versed in it. We're functional, right? We've done it. We've done all these crazy protocols before.
Got it.
And Western medicine doesn't teach you how to do functional medicine, some of the optimizing hormones, things like that. So we had a skill and a knowledge base in this to help people.
Correct. And to fix problems or add to their health.
Yeah,
versus
to fix it or prevent preventative.
Problems. Yeah. Versus how big pharma now, all they want to do is just keep you sick.
Yeah, they want to mask symptoms.
They want to mask instead of heal. Yeah, because there's no money in healing, but obviously peptides are showing a whole nother side.
And we'll get to that later. That's where peptides are changing the name of the game.
Yeah.
That's why big pharma and FDA wants to keep them out of the hands of the public.
Yeah, and so you can't buy them at Vitamin Shop.
Yeah,
but there's a reason why it's not FDA approved because of all this other.
Exactly,
it's listen, it's big business, right? It's big pharma. Give me a piece, but they don't want you to be healthy.
There are some peptides that are FDA approved.
Like which ones?
Insulin's a peptide. I don't know if you knew that.
Which one is a peptide?
Insulin.
Oh, really? That's a peptide. Okay,
it's actually a peptide.
And Ozempic is a peptide.
Ozempic is a peptide, but Ozempic is a brand name by Eli Lilly.
Okay,
that's like the brand name, right? That's the brand name.
Mercedes-Benz.
But that's where they got away with it. The clinical name is semaglutide or semaglutide.
Semaglutide, correct. That's the clinical.
So that's why that's why there was a shortage, or that's why these compounding pharmacies were able to compound it mixed with like B12 because it wasn't the commercial available product like Ozempic. So they mixed it with something. These compounding pharmacies were able to start selling it, and it was on the shortage list for a while because everybody wanted Ozempic. So. And the manufacturers couldn't keep up with it, so they The FDA approved it to go on a shortage list so compounding pharmacies can make it.
And they can mass produce it.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's how they have, well, Mounjaro is another one, right?
Mounjaro is the GLP-2, the peptide.
Is that also like an Ozempic?
It is, but it's off of 2 mechanisms instead of one, so it's supposed to be better and more potent for you. Now you're getting into the GLP-3s, like retatrutide, but that one's not FDA approved yet, which is off 3 mechanisms instead of 2. So it just keeps growing and getting better. I
see what you're saying. So, and do you I keep saying Ozempic, but the correct term is GLP.
The GLP-1 or semaglutide.
The after effects about this Ozempic thing, do you agree with that, or do you think it's actually healthy?
I think it can be healthy if people do it correctly, right? It's just like anything, right? The people back in the day were getting the lap bands or the gastric, right? Mm-hmm. If it was supposed to help teach them better eating habits so they don't overeat, things like that. But of course, if you eat like an asshole before and you go back to eating like an asshole again, you're an asshole. It's not going to work, right? Exactly. That's what people were
the discipline they're not learning.
They were messing up their gastric, or they were, expanding their stomachs and they were eating the same amount again. Mm-hmm. Same thing with any of the GLPs, right? It's supposed to help teach you better eating habits.
Yeah, be more disciplined.
And the issue with what people were seeing on the semaglutide is they weren't eating, period. That's where you heard people about, the muscle loss, the bone density going down, things like that, looking like a skeleton, is because they weren't eating, period, on it.
And I know people that took it and they're like, I can't eat. Yeah, like I'll have like 2 pieces of like, I have 2 spoonfuls of food and I can't eat no more.
Yeah, and that's the problem. People with this overdose, they weren't doing it correctly and they weren't educated on how to properly do it.
So you got to kind of ease your way into it.
And that's where these new ones come in, like the GLP-3. I've experienced myself, I've tested it, but the studies are showing, it's not causing the nausea. It's off of 3 mechanisms instead of the one. It's helps retaining muscle mass, bone density. It's a lot healthier for you, and the overall long effects of it are healthier. Lowering cholesterol, inflammation in the body. Showing that it may decrease the risk of Alzheimer's or things like that.
Wow. So they're making like a super freaking.
But all the GLPs, are helping with Alzheimer's or some of those things. But like the new one coming out is amazing.
Wow, dude, and that's not out yet.
You can get it as a research.
Okay. That bioavailability. What's the exact?
So it's you can get it as a research chemical.
As a research chemical, yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah, because technically that's what they tell you when you buy any.
But all these other peptides are research as well that aren't FDA approved.
But they are FDA approved.
They're not.
Oh, they're not.
There's only a few others FDA approved, like tesamorellin's FDA approved.
Oh, is it really?
That one was designed to help with AIDS patients for visceral fat.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I have a buddy that takes that. He told me the same thing. I'm taking it for my visceral fat.
Yeah, so it's good for that. There's only a few that, but the other ones can be used, and clinics can use them, or doctors can prescribe them as research, or if they think there's a clinical need for it.
I see.
Even though it's still considered a research product, research chemical.
Still considered research, yeah.
So now you can, people try to sell them as research products, not for human use.
But humans are taking them.
Clearly.
Yeah, that's exactly. But I mean, they're not dying. Right, no. They're getting better. I mean, you think like peptides is like the wave of the future?
I think it's a game changer. It's the wave of the future. That's where Hanobi comes in. Hanobi research comes in. I want to make sure if people are acquiring these type of things, they have a good place to go, right? Because you never know what you're getting, right? The issue is you have all these research chemical sites online, but you don't know where they're coming from.
Yes, correct. I want transparency.
And that's the thing. If they don't have COAs, they don't have where they're coming from. Anything that's not American, has backing for it, I would never put on my body. But you have these people putting stuff in their body from China.
Oh my God, the Amazon stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, things like that, where people are like, well, this one's $12. Why am I going to pay $100 for this? I'm like,
what's funny though, dude? It's like a year ago. I was up on BPC 157 about a year ago, and I did my research, and I said the same thing you said. How come Amazon has it for $30, but then this other company here is selling it for $120? I'm going to buy the $121, even though, I don't trust what they're, and then I did more research and they said, these are all placebos that they're selling on Amazon. Like there's
especially if you're injecting it, right? You make whatever you're doing. How do I know exactly what's in that powder?
That's scary, dude. Body? Yeah. No, you don't know what you're getting.
If you're going to save 15 or whatever, you want to save some money, but you want to hurt yourself.
You're going to hurt you. Yeah, it doesn't equate to me.
If it doesn't have a COA with it, it doesn't show where it's coming from, I would never buy it. I would never put it in my body. If they can't be transparent with, the company can't be transparent with you, then there's something wrong.
Gotcha. So now with Hanobi coming into the game, what separates you guys from everybody else that's doing it?
If on the website, Hanobi.com, Hanobi Research, it will show you, it's It's up and running. So it's actually really good products, up there, the research side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just, we're trying to change the game with it as well to show people, that's where, I have to be careful what I say.
Oh, no, yeah, I know. Yeah.
So here on this thing. So it's just one of those things where we're just trying to educate people.
Trying to educate people. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want the goal for Hanobi is to provide better alternatives to better lifestyle changes for the people that want to have a better, healthier lifestyle.
Correct.
Essentially.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Versus not doing the Amazon thing.
Not doing the Amazon thing, not, paying $15, well, I got this from China, things like that, right?
Transparency.
Being
man.
transparent with
Transparency, man. And that's a passion for you because, coming from the background of bodybuilding, coming from the background of playing football, and just overall fitness and health, you live and breathe that.
Absolutely.
So, for you, it feels more like a passion project than anything else. Like, you just want to give someone good service and transparent service on what they're putting in their bodies so that they can hopefully have a more fruitful, longer life or add to their health.
Right. Just make them optimize their health, make them the healthiest they can be. Like they feel like they're 20 again, when they're 40 or 50.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a longer life, have a longevity.
Let me ask you a question. And, if you can't answer it, that's cool. What advice would you give somebody that, wants to get into peptides? Let's say they're just overweight. They want to lose a little bit of weight. They want to, get into a regular regimen of working out. Like they just want to feel better. They're stagnant. They have a sedentary lifestyle. They eat like shit.
The first thing you never put I would start with is getting on a better diet. Nutrition is key. And getting back in the gym, getting on a routine, consistent gym routine, cardio routine. And then months down the road, throw in a peptide or get, or hormones, things like that. But start with the things you can control first.
Got it. So everything you control.
Don't automatically go towards the easy way. But if you're not changing your lifestyle,
it's a lifestyle change.
It's a lifestyle change. If you're not changing your lifestyle, then what's going to happen if, let's say, you take something? As soon as you come off it, you're going to right back to where you were. That's what I'm saying. If you eat like an asshole, you're an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to be an asshole.
Yeah. You got to basically have your, the building's got to be up and structured, and then the peptides or that's like the offices getting furnished.
Well, you gotta have your building blocks first.
Yeah, you got to have your building blocks. You can't just go cold turkey. I'm just gonna start working out. I'm just gonna start eating healthy. I think you got to have all that in place first.
You do,
and then you can start experimenting on what's good for me.
Get your labs done. Go get you do your research into peptides, and then maybe go to get your hormones checked as well.
Gotcha. That's another big thing too. That I get your hormones.
A lot of people don't realize that their hormones aren't optimized. They're underperforming.
Ah, really? So how does that work? How can you get better efficiency out of your hormones or know what works best for you? What's the whole 360?
Doing your research. Finding a hormone clinic out there. That's where clinic protocols come in.
Yes, that's the other company.
My consulting business, to where I'm going to be teaching people or people that want to get in the hormone space how to run and operate a TRT clinic, a teleclinic, hormone clinic, the right way, and to do it where it's affordable.
Gotcha.
Because there's a lot of clinics out there that are popping up these days that are fly by night, that aren't doing it right. They're just, whatever they're doing, they're just not doing it right. So, I've been in this quite a long time. I've gave several people the golden ticket that have taken advantage of me, that started their own clinics and stuff and things like that. Unfortunately, it is what it is, the name of the game, right? They see the money being made in it, and they want to
make it all for themselves.
They want to leverage on it.
Yeah.
So that's what, and they might be doing it right or wrong. I don't know at this point. But my whole thing is, hey, if I can help somebody create a clinic and do it right so they don't have to go through the pitfalls that I've gone through.
That's awesome, man.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. Are you more passionate about, you're passionate for as far as Hanobi and that, but is there one that you love more than the other?
I love them both about the same. I'm very passionate about the Hanobi research.
That's what I'm passionate about.
I'm huge on that. That's one thing I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm at the point to where I can actually do it, and we're doing it. So I'm very excited about that.
Gotcha, man. So you're still going to be operating the clinic, doctor, as far as
so I still have my own hormone clinic on the side.
Okay.
One aspect of it. Then I have Hanobi research, and then I have my consulting business, Clinic Protocols.
Okay, Clinic Pro. So you have all the three working together.
And then we have Biohack Team.
Biohack. Yes, that was the other one.
Biohackteam.com, which is our community. So you can go on there. It's an educational platform. It's a blog. People can go post questions. This is one of those things to an open forum for education.
Got it. So everybody can get more educated and do the research on what works for them. Yep. And it's beautiful what you created here, because you're creating like a system that is just A to Z.
Exactly. And that's where I see the pitfalls in this. Is where somebody wants to open a clinic or do whatever, and they may get one or two things right, but then all of a sudden they're gone the next day.
Why do you think that happens? Are some of them just shady?
Some of them are shady.
Shell businesses? Or?
Shell businesses. Some of them are shady, right? They may open up under one name, 2 months later open up a different name. The other one is they grow so fast they can't keep up.
Supply and demand. They can't keep up with the demand of what they're doing.
And it's a lot, running a clinic is a lot of work.
Yeah. No, I can't. And
having proper documentation, having your license in place, everything, it can be a lot of work. That's where I created this pretty much this master class or this clinic in a box, whatever you want to call it, to make sure people can do this and be sustainable about doing it.
See what you're saying. Now, what do you recommend for people that deal with big scalability quick? Like what just happened, what you just told me.
So I've been through it. Is the biggest thing is making sure you have infrastructure to back it up, automation, staffing, whatever you're going to do is make sure you have it prepared or, forecast it. That if there's something you want to do, make sure you're ready for it.
I see what you're saying. So, and then when people sit down with you to start their clinics, you take them through the whole A to Z process from the hiring aspect to the service aspect.
Finding having a provider network for them, getting them the pharmacies, getting them the peptides, getting them the lab, which labs to use for the lab work, pretty much just all encompassing in one, the forms that need to be filled out, because that's another thing, everything has to be HIPAA compliant. You have to have the proper waivers, proper forms, stuff that I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. That I'm handing them, for a fee.
For a fee, yeah. You got I hear you. You got to make money. You have your a book of knowledge in your brain, man. Holy
so that was
cow.
one thing too. I have this book of knowledge. Why not? Why am I keeping to myself?
You got to capitalize,
right? If I can help somebody, and this clinic space, people think it's saturated, and it's really not. People are just doing it the wrong way. Or they're not doing it right. Why not be able to give them the opportunity to do it right?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
There's enough people in this world for everybody to eat.
Exactly, 100%, and doing it the right way.
Yes.
Versus just like you said, fly by nights or shell companies or people not being able to keep up with the demand. Like systems and processes are what makes a business last forever.
And then customer service. A lot of these clinics out there, their customer service sucks. Not to be mean or say frank or talk bad about any clinics out there, but there's times where people will call me and talk to me and be like, "Hey, I've been with X clinic for this long, but I can't get a hold of anybody, or they won't call me back. Or they won't bring me back for 4 or 5 days or 2 weeks." I'm like, that's not, we're still in the medical field, but we're in a different medical field. So we be treating people differently, and you're messing with their hormones. So you should, my timeline is within 24 hours, but usually I respond to somebody within minutes or even less than an hour.
So you understand service.
Yes.
But I think it's also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but guys like me and you, we got like this like sixth gear that a lot of people just don't encompass, where it's like, we just want to be great. And we don't know what decompressing means. We don't know what taking a break means. You're on it.
No, exactly. I've been like that ever since I was a cop, live, breathe, and eat it. Like I would work 18, 19-hour days, go home, sleep 2 hours, and right back at it.
Go right back at it.
Same thing I do with this. I'm never off.
Yeah, you're always on the grind.
Unfortunately, I'm always on my phone. It makes people I hang out with sometimes irritated with me, but I'm like, look, I'm never going to stop. Like I don't have a weekend.
Yeah, but this is what you do. This is your passion. This is your job. You're an entrepreneur. That
exactly with everything going on and the other businesses now, like I'm just nonstop, and I love it. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I did what I get myself into, but at the end of the day, I would never ask for anything less.
Of course not, because and this is stuff that you have worked hard for your whole life, and you have kind of like you're at the rising action now. You're almost at the climax. And
right.
The climax is going to be when you have all your companies like just firing on all cylinders.
It's going to be nice.
Building everything up. And then you can say, okay, maybe I can take a break or a day off.
Even then, I don't think I'll take a break.
Yeah, because again, it's just part of like, with my podcast, it's the same thing. It's like, I have a great interview. I have a great episode. All right, what's next? What's in the... If I don't have like 5 guests booked, I get anxious.
Right.
It's like, I got to keep that going. I got to keep, blessed to have you come on and sponsor the podcast. Like that right there gives me discernment and confirmation that I'm on the right path.
You're doing the right things.
And it makes you want to work harder. It makes you want to go even faster than what you think you could.
Yep.
And I think you share that same sentiment.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'm excited about everything that Hanobi has that's going to happen down the line, because, we're here at the grassroots of it with you. So I'm very thankful that you thought of us and decided to, partner up with us as well.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I saw a need in the space, and I want to make sure, who I'm working with, we're going to be changing the name of the game, doing things the right way. And that's the end of the day. That's how everybody should be operating.
100%.
Do it the right way.
Do it the right way. Have commonality. Because I'm not, I can't sit here and talk about something that I'm not passionate about. I don't care if they're paying me a gazillion bucks. It doesn't matter. I have to really, truly be passionate.
You got to get behind it.
Get behind it. Yeah. So when the opportunity came that Encore connected us, I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is a dream come true, because it's what I'm so passionate about, health and fitness, and constantly learning about peptides. And for me, it makes me feel complete. Like, okay, now we're on a different trajectory, and it makes sense.
We're on the right path.
And it's on the right path. And the same with your company. Like, you're on the right path.
Yeah.
And you're making moves every day. So I told you, I'm just so excited to see what the next 3, 6, 9 months look like for you.
I'm excited too. You know, like I said, that's why I decided to create these companies, especially Clinic Protocols, because I've dealt with some shitty business partners and people in my space that tried to screw me over, and I'm still dealing with some of them to this day. But people are just shitty, and I want to make sure if you want to do this, you do it right, and make sure you don't go behind somebody's back and try to steal something from them.
100%. Integrity's big.
Yeah.
One of my old superiors says to me, integrity's doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
Exactly. And I'm big, based on my background, how I was raised, me and my law enforcement round, is your ethics and your integrity. That's the only things you have to stand on as a man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without those, you're nobody.
Nothing at all. So what's next? What's your plan for the next year when it comes to Hanobi and the other companies you have?
The biggest thing is getting the name out there, growing them as best, as big as we can. And making sure we're sustainable while doing it, making sure we're able to get people what they need at a timely manner, and the customer service is there, and we have the education behind it.
100%.
Clinic protocols, teaching people how to get clinics up and running and sustainable, and having that knowledge, with what I have, and then the other people in my life that I partner with to make sure we're giving the best possible product we can. Let
me ask you a question, because you just made me think about this while you said that. Are you going to be using whoever you help open clinics with Hanobi as like the premier product that they're carrying? How does that work from a business perspective?
So it depends. On a research side, we could, but from a clinic side, I have other avenues for them to get different sorts of peptides from a clinic avenue. Either a med spa, things like that. So will Hanobi be involved? To a certain degree, yes, but there's different parameters and guidelines and regulations on what Hanobi can do within clinic protocols.
So a clinic and a med spa are two different things?
They're pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
One may offer the services in-house. The telehealth clinic may offer the services be directly shipped to you, so you do your own injections.
I see. So the med spa, you can go there and they can inject you.
Right. A lot of these things big is like doing, some of these med spas are out there doing these GLPs or weight loss where you pay, weekly to come get your shots. And they're making really good money doing that, which I don't fault them for. The other aspect, if you own a telehealth clinic, the clinic can ship you a bottle that lasts you 8 to 10 weeks.
I see what you're saying.
So there's give and take, right? If somebody doesn't want to do their own injection, then they have the availability to go to these med spas or there's other type in-house clinics to do them for you. Because some people are afraid of needles, or these other.
I'm afraid of needles, man.
These other hormone clinics that have brick and mortars.
I see what you're saying.
And they have trained clinicians or licensed clinicians to do the injections for you.
I see. So there's a whole different. There's more than one way to
skin the cat here.
Skin the cat.
Yeah.
Here. I see. What's your ideal optimal pathway to that, as far as like the clinic?
Well, just do the knowledge base, and finding out when I do these interviews or when I come on, do these consultations for these consulting businesses, find out what their overall objectives and goals are, so I can help streamline it and get them there to the fastest possible means.
Got it. And keeping the integrity.
Yes.
Being able to handle scalability and all those, everything else that comes with it.
So the nice thing with this is, the hard part, of creating a clinic is getting, everything aligned in one aspect, right? Some people might be able to find a practitioner. They might be a doctor anyways, but they don't know how to sign up with the pharmacies. They don't know how to get everything linked up. And that's where Clinic Protocol comes to make sure it's a seamless transition to get everything linked up into one.
Yeah, you guys, you're basically providing a service that gives businesses peace of mind.
Yes.
Because you have somebody that's talented at one thing. They can't do the bookkeeping. They can't do this. You need to hire a professional like yourself that can handle all those facets.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, doctors are amazing, but most doctors aren't business savvy.
Yeah. They're good at one thing, being a doctor.
Exactly.
They're dumb. And I was just joking. No, but seriously, no, they're an artist or whatever you want at what they do. So I'm a podcaster. I'm not going to get involved in, the marketing. I'm going to have a say in it, but I trust who's doing the marketing.
Right.
I trust who's doing the YouTube. I trust
exactly.
So you can't micromanage and be successful.
Exactly.
That's where you come in. You do the micromanaging for these companies.
Yep.
And you get them to scalability and teach them the A to Z method on how to run a clinic successfully.
Exactly. And that's where Hanobi comes in, for the research side. People want to check it out. They can go to the website and learn what they can from Hanobi research, check it out. And then that's, we have our community on the back end to where, it's a platform for knowledge.
I love it, man. I love what you're doing, dude. Seriously. I mean, it's inspiring. I think this is needed at this time of where we are in 2025 and heading into the 2030s. Like, the advancement in science and medicine is going to be so wild.
It's huge. I'm excited to get this going or have it going and doing it the right way. There's so many peptide companies out there, research companies out there. You don't know what you're buying, like we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the government, with RFK and Trump, a lot of these peptides are going to be probably moved off a category 2 list into category 1 to make them a little more easier to obtain. And for somebody like myself or in this space, it's going to make them regulated but easier to sell.
Correct. But they still won't be FDA approved?
That's one of the things we're working on.
It's so annoying.
If they do, right, then it's how are we going to get past this barrier? If they get FDA approved, then Eli Lilly, these big pharma companies may want them and try to suppress them from the public. But I think there's too much hype around them right now or going on right now to where I don't think that's going to happen.
I hope it doesn't.
And I know people very close to me and that are in Washington and they believe that, it's going to be a good path.
I mean, yeah, with all the stuff RFK wants to do as far as like, with the Food Administration, the health, like even taking the dyes out of the cereals and the candy, like even just something as small as that, I think there is small micro steps forward.
Of course, it takes time, right?
There's legislation and all this, and there's all this red tape. But I think we are in the beginning of the right steps as far as like prioritizing, not masking, but prioritizing preventing.
Exactly.
And optimizing health.
And one of the biggest things that happened recently is they took off the FDA warning on testosterone.
Really?
They took it off. Now, before it had a warning about heart health and all this other stuff on it, they took off this warning about him being bad. The FDA removed it.
Really?
Yeah. So that's a huge step
in the
right direction.
We're all heading in the right. It's just going to take more time, but the good news is that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
There is.
We're not
RFK openly talking about his peptide use is huge.
It's just, guy's a beast.
It's cool. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, but that we need. I mean, enough with the God. Listen, I was a big kid once, and I'm thankful I'm not there anymore. But if I would have been beside myself if someone told me when I was really big, I was 330 pounds. That was my biggest weight ever.
Yeah.
And imagine me at 330. Oh, you look beautiful. You know what? God loves you. And I know God loves me, but he wants me to be healthy too.
I don't want myself at this point.
He wants me. God doesn't want me to be healthy. He wants me to be healthy. So it's just like, let's cut that out. Let's really promote health, fitness, nutrition, and discipline.
And the keyword is optimization, right? And making sure you're doing it correctly.
Yes.
In the right way.
Yes. Not doing it the bootleg way, not buying Amazon BPC, you know what I mean? Like really go with someone that knows what they're talking about, like Hanobi, that knows how to start a clinic up from A to Z like you have, and you have the knowledge and the backing and the understanding. That's like the everything all in one. You're getting the whole nut here. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's going to separate you from the pack because number one, you mean well. Number two, you have integrity. Number three, you have knowledge. And number four, I know that you have the guts to make it work.
That's the plan.
I'm
gonna die trying. That's for sure.
No, I'm here for the ride, brother.
Yeah,
I'm here for the ride, man. Brother, listen, I got some mastermind questions for you.
Absolutely.
Before we wrap up, man. I ask this to everybody that comes on. It's kind of like to get to know you a little bit better. Fast, rapid questions.
Like one-word answers? Or whatever?
Yeah, one-word.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a one-word answer, but just fast thinking. And if you have a story that goes along with it, feel free to share. What book have you read that inspired you the most?
Ooh, it's tough. To be honest, I just read Anker's book.
Oh, get out of here. Rogue Visionary.
Yeah, that's
Did
amazing.
You like that?
Oh, it was amazing.
No, he's got a wild story.
Crazy story.
He's got a crazy story.
So I thought my story was wild. What I've been through, my trials and tribulations, that's a wild story.
Awesome, man.
That's actually inspiring.
No, that's a good story, man. Now, shout out to Encore, by the way. What person in your life has brought you the most influence?
Probably my dad.
Nice. And you say he was a police officer as well.
Yeah, he still is on the floor. Wow. Actually, he's a DA investigator now for one of the counties. So
awesome.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest influences in my life.
Beautiful, man. Good stuff. What keeps you driven in life?
Go always be better and do better. I'm never satisfied.
I see. I'm the same way, bro. Enough is never enough.
I tell myself I want to retire, but I also look at myself and I'm like, if I retire, I'm still going to work.
Yeah. It's funny you say it because I the goal is for me and my wife, we down the line, 10, 15 years, got your investments, you got everything in place. But I I'm going to be that guy that's retired, that's still going to want to work hard. I'm probably going to work at a gym. You know, I'm going to do something that is in line with what I'm passionate
You're like
about.
I am. I don't think you do well sitting around at home doing nothing.
No, it's tough. It's tough.
I've had several surgeries where I was like laid up for a while, like I'm a knee replacement. And I at the time I was married and I drove my wife absolutely fucking crazy.
Dude, I don't blame you. It's because you have that gear.
Yeah.
You have that gear in you. Some people, believe it or not, they love the complacent, lazy stuff.
Oh, yeah. I know plenty of people, and that's not me.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's once, like yesterday, I told you I wanted to see you guys at the gym. My truck was in the shop, and it was driving me crazy because for me to take an Uber to go over there, by the time I get there, the truck will be ready, and then I got to go pick up. So it was just too many.
It's like an $80 round trip thing.
Yeah, it's like $80. It's 160. No, it was $80 one way.
Oh, Jesus, yeah,
it was $160, and then I'm gonna stop in to say hi for 5 minutes, not even get a workout in. So, but it was driving me nuts. Like I wasn't being productive. I had to do laundry. I literally had to do laundry to feel like I was doing something.
Yep.
Because it was driving me crazy. But I do agree that, you know, when you have a moment to sit, you should sit.
And I'm getting better about that. I'm sitting in my own thoughts.
I like that. Yeah.
I'm getting better about it sometimes because before I just was always on the go. But now I'm learning to sit my own thoughts and reflect and regulate them.
Yeah, you gotta, you know, you work hard, you're goal oriented, you're goal driven. But if you don't sit back and enjoy a little bit of life, it can run right by you, man.
It can, or you can, you know, things that are going on. If you don't pay attention, you suppress them, or whatever's going on, it comes out, it rears its head somewhere or another, and not in a good fashion.
No. Listen, just like the physical health, the mental health is just as important. Dude.
Exactly.
You got to take care of the whole temple. I hear you, man. What's your lightest and darkest moment in life?
My darkest moment, probably when I lost my job as a cop, my career as a law enforcement.
Wow.
You know, I was like we talked about, that was everything.
That was
my livelihood. That's what I breathed. I breathed and drank the Kool-Aid, you know, for almost 15 years.
I hear you. Yeah, no, that must have hurt you. Oh God,
so
I can't imagine.
The lightest moment has been, you know, in the past year, you know, being able to structure these companies and doing it, you know, having a passion for this again.
Yeah, man, you're fired up.
Yeah,
I love it, man. I love it, brother. Have you ever had any vices, and how did you overcome them?
So vices, yeah. So, you know, when I first moved to Vegas, you know, I had a little issue with gambling. So I wound up getting counseling for it and getting help. And, you know, it's one of those things. It's a disease, just like alcoholism, just like everything else.
Really? How bad did it get?
I still was able to pay my bills, but we got to a point to where my wife at the time was concerned. I was concerned. I wasn't happy, you know. We just moved to Vegas, restarting. So it's like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I fucking stopping at the gas station, putting in $25 to a fucking slot machine?
Oh my God, was that? Yeah, because it's everywhere in Vegas.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So, you know, I've learned how to regulate that and deal with it.
Wow, and you went through a program for that?
I went through a program for it. You know,
how long was the program?
About 8 months.
And you like, do you have a sponsor?
Not anymore. You know, I haven't been back to, you know, they have the gambling anonymous classes like AA. I haven't been back for a while, but you know, just like everybody, like I have my struggles still with it. There's times where, do I want to go gamble? Yeah, but I try to keep it in perspective. If I'm drinking or doing something like that, I try to go nowhere near a casino.
Smart, man.
Yeah.
It always intrigues me about gambling because it's the one disease that you can't smell it. You can't, you know how you're like an expert at seeing if somebody's high off cocaine or heroin. I can't tell if someone's physically a gambler.
No, it's hard.
You know,
right?
it's hard.
Yeah,
so it's like
you look like everybody else.
You look like everybody else. So and you're struggling with this, and you have this impulsivity. So you know, congratulations that you went through that.
Which I found out, which is crazy. A lot of people don't know this. Gambling addiction or people with compulsive gambling issues or diseases, it should be considered a disease, but they haven't ruled it yet a disease.
They should.
Has the highest suicide rate out of any disease.
Whoa. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you go, right, and you have this endorphin dump when you gamble, right? You're getting these stimulus, so you're enjoying it. Let's say you lose whatever. Now you're not happy, so now you're just really pissed off, upset with yourself, down, depressed, and then you make rash decisions.
And those rash decisions can hurt not yourself, but people around you.
Right.
You know,
and let's say you go off and you blow your whole paycheck, right? Well, how are you gonna feed your wife? How are you gonna feed your kids? You know, so they make a rash decision.
Oh God, man, God bless you for getting on the other side, man.
So yeah, it took me a long time to be able to talk about at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, man. No, I mean, my heart goes out to you, man. I know that's one of the hardest things to deal with. You know, that it should be called the disease.
It should
but
be.
It's one of the hardest things. Like I had a bad weed addiction, 10 years ago. And I thought that was like hard, but I got over it. And now I can smell it in front of me. I don't even have no inkling to do it.
Right.
But when I was in it, it was like death. I was like, oh my God, I'm so addicted to this. But now that I'm on the other side and I see clearly, I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord, that I'm out of this. But my heart goes out to the people that are still stuck in certain diseases.
So do I. You know, it's not doesn't make you weak, doesn't make you, a failure. You know, everybody has their issues, and it's, if you're struggling with it, then you should get help. It's not what I found out, any kind of mental PTSD, anything, it's never a weakness, right? Because so many guys, like us, we think being weak is not a good attribute, but it's not being weak. Everybody has their moments that they need help. It's okay not to be okay sometimes. Yeah,
it's absolutely right. And we have to also champion the people like you and me that believe in the A word, which is accountability. You got to take accountability for the stupid shit that you're doing.
Absolutely.
And get on the other side.
I've done plenty of stupid shit.
You know what I mean? But the problem is now it's like no one wants to be held accountable.
No one wants that accountability.
I want to gamble, and I want to smoke, and I want to cheat, and I want to do all this crap, and you can't tell me nothing.
Exactly.
Like, that's crazy to me. It's freaking crazy to me that people, men and women, are out there in the world living like that. And it's like a ticking time bomb.
It is.
Well,
they mask it. Let's say they, have a gambling addiction. They go out and drinking, so they mask it with the drinking, and then they don't want to feel like shit, so they continue to drink, or they add drugs into it. Right? It's just could be the snowball effect.
Yeah.
They don't want to take accountability, or they don't want to reflect on themselves.
Man, I'm thankful that you're out of that, bro.
Yeah.
That means listen. Good job, seriously, because that's a hard thing to get over, man. So, keep fighting that good fight, brother. Absolutely. What does the next level of success in your life look like?
Doing what I'm doing now, taking these companies and trying to grow them and level up from them, I'm not sure what the next adventure is going to be. I'm sure it's going to be fun. I'm on this ride right now, hanging on and doing what I can.
I love it, brother. And we're here with you.
Yes,
we're here
sir.
with you, man. Last question before I get you out of here. And this was the one that stumps everybody. What is the last thing you purchased that changed your life?
Last thing I purchased that changed my life. Probably the Hanobi domain.
Ah, there we go. See? Okay, there you go. You got it. I think the longest was like probably over a minute someone took to answer that.
I think that one is huge, with Encore's help and the philosophy behind it and the education, and that domain was available, and it's, we're marketing for it, and it's just cool. Like, it's like one of those things, like it's a life-changing purchase,
Absolutely. Yeah. And now the sky is the limit, man.
Yep.
And Encore is the man. I mean, even what he's done with my podcast in the last year, helping me grow it, has been phenomenal. By the time this comes out, we're probably going to be at 100,000 subscribers.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it's pretty. We're hovering around 80,000 now.
Nice.
So by the time this comes out, 100K guaranteed.
Awesome.
Hanobi representing. Come on.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate your time, man. And before you get out of here, take a minute, let everybody know what's next, where they can find Hanobi, where they can find you. Give them the whole spiel.
Questions, answers, find me at davidlindberg.com. It's my personal brand. Hanobi.com. For any of the research side, go check it out. If you have, any inclination on the research on the peptides, Hanobi.com. Clinicprotocols.com for my consulting business, anywhere you can find me. And then biohackteam.com for our community. So I appreciate it. If you have questions, you can find me on any of those platforms.
My man, Pots and Pans. Brother, yes, I appreciate your time. And thank you for being the first official sponsor of I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman. I am excited for the future, man. And thank you for believing in us as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming
appreciate
on,
it, brother.
Pardon the left. No. I do the right way, brother. Thank you, man. Guys, that is a wrap on episode 56 of I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman podcast. If this podcast inspired or moved you in any way, please subscribe to my Apple, Spotify, and YouTube platforms by typing in I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman. And make sure you hit up the Instagram handle at I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman for all further content updates. I am thankful for every listener, and I pray that you have a blessed one, not a stressed one.
I need you by my side.